Welcome to the Real Cosmic Joke.
We're back, you guys.
We're back.
I mean, we've always been here. Me and Baytop have not seen each other in like a week, and I feel like it's been 2 months, and it's been so weird.
Yeah, because I see her like every other day somehow.
And we talk every day, so when we don't talk for one day, I'm like, oh my gosh, is she dead?
I think I went emo this weekend.
And that's fine, because I've also done that.
Yeah, you did. What have you been up to?
Oh, I just finished my parasite cleanse yesterday. And today, so I guess technically this would be day 11 if we're counting days, 3-foot white worm came out of my body.
I said, send me that photo, girl.
She did.
And she
directed you to Instagram.
Yeah, I went to Instagram and then proceeded to look at your stories.
Oh, it's insane. And also those white ones, they are the most conscious ones. So they feed off of our energy and our nutrients.
That's so wild.
So because this is coming out of me still at day 11, I might do another cleanse next month. TBD, I don't know. But I feel like a new human. I have not felt alive like this in so long. Like
Hallelujah.
I could cry because, oh my gosh, it's been, I mean, the whole time you've known me, I have had zero energy, zero creativity. And disclosure, I was dealing with mold poisoning. Don't know where it came from. It was supposedly a building. But yeah, it's been, and I had so many aha moments this week during my cleanse, and I want to share some of that. But it's been a powerful, powerful 10 days.
Wow.
I mean, I think something like this, it takes willpower. It's not easy. And I think when you do something like this, it really shows you the places in your life that you need to work on, or maybe that you don't have control over, like food addiction or relationship issues. Or, I mean, I had so much stuff coming up this week.
What came up?
Well, first that came up, this is like very vulnerable. Extremes. So I have had so many gut issues, and I've like talked to you about this week, of feeling isolation in a way of I can't go out and just eat with my friends, or I can't go out and like have one glass of wine with my friends because it will wreck me for weeks on end. So I feel like our culture revolves around food and all these activities, and I can't participate in them. And so I feel even more isolated than I already do, even within my own friend group. And so it's really made me pull back the last probably year, because I started drinking. And it's not just about drinking, it's also food. Like most food had hurt my stomach in the past. So felt like I was living in these extremes. So I started villainizing a lot of things that my friends are eating or drinking or whatever. And I just got into these extremes of things. And I think I was doing it to justify that I couldn't do it, and then it was bad for my body. And so I was looking at it in a very extreme way. And then I had this big aha moment that I'm like pushing that onto my kids.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that fucking sucks. Like, that sucks so bad. Like, that is like the last thing I want to do, is push any extremes onto my kids. I feel like that's what was done to me. And I think it's out of, I don't want my kids to deal with anything I'm dealing with. Like, I don't want them to feel isolated because they can't go out to dinner with their friends and they can't eat anything, and they have to ask the waiter, like, hey, I can't have this or this or this. Can you cook this different? Like all these things. I don't want my kids to feel like that. So I have been very extreme with them in a way of, I want to educate them, but not in an extreme way. Does that make sense? Like, I want to empower them and then still allow them to make their own choices. So like, we don't go out for like donuts. I mean, we don't take our kids out to do those things, and we probably still won't do that very much. I'm not going to start just feeding them a bunch of junk, but I just realized I've been pushing extremes onto everyone, really.
Yeah, me
and like
too.
Demonizing things because that's just my experience right now, and I'm in it. And so it almost makes me feel better to demonize something, because then I feel better that I can't partake in it, instead of sitting with the uncomfortableness of being different and knowing that I'm like in this healing journey and I just have to get through it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like riding the wave of the unknown.
Yeah. And then Sandra listened to a podcast this week, and I guess the podcaster was saying that he's allowed to let he has allowed to let his kids live in extremes to teach them
Mhm.
and to help them learn. And so I think that's, I mean, I don't know what we're going to like necessarily implement going forward, but we're going to keep educating and keep teaching them why we eat clean and how those things serve our body. But I don't want to demonize things,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so like if they go to a party and there's a ton of candy, I don't want to be like, hey, don't have any of that candy. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
let them choose. And if they feel like crap after, then we get to have a conversation of like, well, let's talk about why this made your body feel this way. Like, how are you feeling? Did that make you feel good? Did it make you feel worse? You know, and having those
Yeah.
conversations and empowering them. And then after all of that, if they still choose to live a certain way, they're just going to have to be on a healing journey later on in life. And that's their
Yep.
lesson. So it's been a lot, but so good to have those realizations. And again, this is why I love this cleanse, is because you are basically not eating a lot of food, just like fruit. And I feel like when our body is constantly digesting and focusing on all these other things, we're not in tune to our
Oh
body.
yeah, our body is so
Yeah.
sensitive.
Well, when it's focused on digesting instead of getting downloads or feeling like that intuitive, you know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah.
So I had so many downloads this week, and that hasn't happened in a while.
Oh
And so that
wow.
just tells me like I was in a very pure state and I had so much happen this week. So that was probably the biggest one and I think the hardest one. And it's just kind of crazy because Sonder on the other side of that was also having that same aha moment. He wasn't doing the cleanse, but we got that information the same day.
Oh
And
wow.
so when we went to talk, he was like, I literally was just listening to this podcast and had this same feeling. And so that was kind of cool
Oh
too.
my
It was
gosh.
like, okay. So
Divine synchronicity.
yeah, there's that. And then the other thing I was talking to you about, just dealing with a hard child, an explosive child.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with you. I've posted stuff in like my close friends' stories because it's not stuff that I feel like I need to be sharing like publicly on social media. I want my kids to have privacy, right? So just like how to deal with children and boundaries. And I think we have a tendency of going extreme of what our parents did because we don't want to have those same experiences. So
Yeah.
again, we go extreme the other way. But now I'm finding that I need to have stronger boundaries and there needs to be consequences.
Yeah.
So I'm also kind of trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah, it's complex. It's like what is what? I think because we were having this conversation about your
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
last week
Yeah.
and some of the things that like me, it just so happened the moment you messaged me, my friend
Yes.
who is a longtime nanny for many different families,
Yeah.
we were having the same exact situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we grew up in this like baby boomer culture. Like our parents are baby boomers, right?
Yeah.
And it was like this toxic masculine hierarchy, right? And then I think so many of us are like, well, we don't want that extreme, so we're going to go over here. I'm not saying that you did that fully, but it's what felt like a transition for me this week was this didn't work and then this hasn't worked. Okay, now what is this blended mix? Because I don't know, gentle parenting has its wins and it also has its challenges. And I think when we go to these again extreme of one
Yeah.
side, we're missing some of the much needed qualities of this other side.
Well, and kids are all different.
They're so
And
different.
so like let's use our experiences as an example. I needed to be parent differently than my siblings. I was not the same as my siblings. My
Yeah.
siblings were not the same as me. And I think it does a disservice when you parent your kids exactly the same when they are wildly different.
Oh my gosh,
Like
yeah.
we all need different things. And I'm not saying be unfair necessarily, but our kids just need different things
They do.
and different boundaries, or I mean maybe the same boundaries, but
Yeah.
they need to be parented different.
Yeah, I was a horrible child. Like so I get, you parents can say that to you. They
Yeah.
say it to you and then I had the opportunity to live with my friend. She had 4 kids
Mhm.
and one of her children, I remember same exact birthday as me. And I just witnessed her for like a whole year and a half. And I'm like, wow, this kid has healed me so much because It's not that I'm blame my family for everything, but
Yeah, totally.
it's, part of these roles, and I remember just witnessing her, and I'm like, "Wow, she's an extremely difficult child," and
So do
I
you think if your parents would have done something different or had boundaries or loved you in a different way, would that have changed anything for you?
yeah, I mean, looking back, I needed the lessons from both my parents,
Yeah,
the insanity of my father and control, and then the apathy and, like, just emotional
totally. I mean, I think
absence.
we got exactly what we needed to get to this point, but would you change
Oh, I
anything?
didn't have a home life that was regulated, like, no
Yeah.
nervous my nervous system was never
So
regulated,
do you
like,
think that is one of the reasons why you acted out is because everything was just so
it was
chaotic?
just super chaotic,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, most of the year I had absolutely no boundaries.
Yeah, no like structure.
So, I mean, yeah, so it was just,
I
I
feel like
could
kids need boundaries too.
yeah, but then I go to my dad's and it was, like, extreme boundaries,
Yeah,
so
so you just had
so it's just
whiplash.
violent.
You
Yeah,
had
so it's like, "Oh,
whiplash. Yeah.
and then yeah, just coming into adulthood, I'm like, "Oof, that was wow, I'm alive." Um, yeah, I think what I was really it's interesting because you were talking about your one child and you messaged me, and, like, that morning, I was thinking about them,
Mhm.
and, I think so many of these strong personality children are, I mean, I think they came here kicking and screaming into this earth. I don't
I could not agree more.
like, they did not come here being like, "Wow, wonderful, sign me up." I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. They
Yeah.
came here with a really big mission and a
Yeah.
really big plan, and it's painful. It's so I mean, I was suicidal at the age of 4, like, I wanted to be dead every single day of my life, like
Yeah.
and, like, what four-year-old wants to be dead? And, for a long time, I blamed my parents, and I'm like, I also believe part of my innate DNA of coming into this world was just not wanting to be here.
Yeah.
Like, I think people I was up in the ethers and they're like, "Hey, you're going on another mission." I'm like, "I don't really want to." And they're like, "No, you're going on another mission." I'm like,
You don't
"Ah."
you don't think we have a choice?
No, I think I eventually was like, "Fine, I'll go."
Yeah.
But I don't think I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I'm so excited."
See, I think I love a good challenge, and when they were like, "This is gonna be the biggest awakening humanity's ever seen. Do you wanna go?" I'd be like, "Hell yeah, I wanna go. I wanna be a part of this." And now I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I don't know, I just feel like I never wanted to be here, and now I'm just coming to this deeper connection what does being here actually mean.
Yeah, and that's
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah, and I don't know what it means, but I do have a kinship to all the trouble hard children because I
Yeah,
was out of all my cousins, I was the most difficult, and
and I
that's
have a theory too
what's your
about
theory?
the children, like, the children right now, and I'm not saying this doesn't count for children in the past, and, like, I'm not invalidating your experience, but I think the children coming now are very much here for this new energy that we're moving into, and I also think that's why a lot of them are struggling so hard because they weren't their personalities and who they are to their core is not for what we're in right now. Like, not these like
Oh, yeah,
structures
no,
and
it's not.
programs and control and manipulation and agendas. So I think as we continue to break out of these things over the next handful of years, I think these kids are going to thrive more in this new energy. I know new earth. I have a hard time saying that because I know
Yeah,
that
I'm
sounds
trying
like,
challenging with that.
well, it sounds like new agey, and it's just this new energy that we're moving into. So I'm trying to say that instead of saying new earth. We're not going to literally get a new earth. We're just moving into new
Mm,
energy, and that is just a fact. And so I don't nobody knows what's going to look like. We
yeah,
don't know what's going to happen the next few years, but I really do think the energy of what is coming is going to serve our children
yep,
because they're not supposed to be sitting in classrooms all day. They're not supposed to be put in these boxes. Like, they're here to be individuals and to shine in their own way, which our systems do not accommodate that at all.
no, they don't. I think, if you look at Gene Key's Human Design, there's, like, 3 big shifts that have happened the last couple decades, and it
Yeah.
was 1988, 2012, and this next one coming is 2027. But it's interesting because in 1988, which is the year I was born, so on average, 8% of the population, have I told you this, is manifestors, right? We know that,
Yeah.
8%. In 1988, it randomly spiked to 25% of the population.
And that was the year you were born.
Those years born. And so in 1988, there's a ton of people who were born and they were manifestors. And the whole idea
Oh.
of a manifestor is to initiate.
Yeah.
And so part of me wonders if it's, our generation, these late 80s, like, I mean, we're basically taking the system down and building a whole new system.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of initiation energy. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I don't think our role, we get to exist in this new energy, but we're really transitioning power.
We're the bridge.
Yeah, we're the bridge.
I've seen that so many times. Like in like visions and visuals, I have seen that we are literally the bridge.
Oh yeah, we are the bridge. We are the bridge.
Here comes some sort of something. Okay, that was a lot about me. I want to hear, what have you been going through this week? I saw a couple rants on
Oh my
Instagram that
gosh.
I loved. Let's hear more about that.
Okay. I went on lots of rants this weekend and no one unfriended me.
I did. Just kidding.
She's
I was like,
unfriended me on both accounts.
I'm gonna take a break from you.
Um,
I love the passion. I have to say that. I mean, even if I'm following a friend that I don't agree with, I'm not saying I don't agree because I actually do agree. But I love when people are passionate about something that they speak about. So I love your passion
yeah,
about
thank
this
you.
topic.
So what I always tell people is I'm like 5 years ahead of everything, and so
Yeah.
sometimes my rants, they literally, if I said the rants I said 5 years ago, if I said them
Are relevant
today,
now.
are relevant today, but I'm
Yeah.
already over that. So my rant this week, it started with, oh, I actually don't even remember how it started, but it probably started on Tuesday.
Tuesday sounds
Last
like
Tuesday, and we're filming on a Tuesday, so it's been a whole week. And I was just reflecting all of these women's groups I've been in and how I think they're genuinely kind, sweet people. But I said a few things and then I realized some of the comments I was getting back was, well, let's I don't think you have to be that direct, or you don't have to do this, or you don't have to be this way. You get to just be. You don't have your role isn't to take action, like surrender, just flow
so
and all
people
this.
telling you how to live basically, or telling you what to think.
Exactly. And what I realize is in these healing communities, you have so many of these like quote unquote divine feminines,
Mhm.
and I'm a manifestor in human design, so I naturally have like innately more masculine energy than a lot of women. And I would say my chart is like actually equally balanced. Even my astrology, it's like down the middle, masculine, feminine. But so my role is radically different than a lot of women. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that to be like, oh, we're separate, we're different, but my friend, she simplified it to like we're the point of the spear,
Mhm.
and so we're the first to hit. And so for a lot of women, they're like, oh, that's you're being too much, you're taking up too much space, and they're all learning how to take up space, but yet they're telling other women, you're this, you're that. And I've had so many experiences in the last few months of just these subtle ways of like women just telling me to be more feminine, be more this.
Yeah.
And I've been on this healing journey for so long. And I was like, that doesn't sit well with me. That really doesn't sit well with me.
Well,
Like,
and people who are not comfortable taking up space are gonna tell you not to take up space.
well, yeah. And and one of the things too I realized is like, I think we're forcing roles on people that it's not their point in the journey yet. So to
Mhm.
be like this enlightened crone energy, right? If you look at
Yeah.
there's like the maiden, the mother, the I think something else, and then the crone energy, right? There's these
Mhm.
stages of being a woman. And when I'm in my 50s, I plan to be extremely graceful and beautiful and, maybe a few facelifts. I don't know. Okay.
A
Um,
few.
but but I'm in my 30s. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I still have the energy and the wisdom to point things out. And
Yeah.
so I'm not trying to be in my crone energy yet. And I think so often we forget these roles that we're playing. And my role is that of a warrior in many ways. Like I'm
Mhm.
here to be like, that's wrong, and that's wrong, and that's wrong. And then all these women show up in my inboxes and they're like, oh my gosh, I've never been brave enough to say that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like there's certain people in this world who are here to give permission to other people,
Absolutely.
and I feel my energy is here to give permission to others.
Yeah.
And so when people are saying tone it down, even in like these subtle, like I would say kind of gaslighty type ways, if I'm being honest, like, oh, I've been in this shaman work for 20 years, like you need to tone it down. Like they don't say that, but basically everything they're
Yeah.
saying is
Yeah.
that. And then I got angry. I got
Good.
angry because I was
Good.
like, wait a second. If I'm pointing out the bullshit and I have to step into my masculine energy, I'm talking into the mic pretty. If I have to step into my masculine energy to point this out, why is no one else pointing this out? Where
Yeah.
the fuck are the men? And then I got mad at the masculine.
Yeah.
And I was like, you little bitch asses, you fake ass divine masculine men, you're over here crying in the corner while like I just don't think, okay, this is a complete generalization, but I feel like we put so much toxic masculine into our culture,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're like, we told everyone to be deeply in their feminine. Even the men, we told them to just feel their feelings, and it's so important to feel your feelings. But
But we
there's
need the masculine men to step
we
up.
need them to step up because
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one to go into these spiritual communities and healing communities and be like, this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong. I don't want to play that role.
Yeah.
But that is like a masculine role, like that divine protector. And I'm like,
Yeah.
who are you protecting? Because you might be protecting my emotions, but like I don't physically know if you're like protecting me, because I have been in so many environments, like some of them, like I'm on an FBI watch list, so I can't even tell you about all of them. But I'm in these environments where these men are, I find that they're protecting one thing, but not the other. So
Mm-hmm.
they're protecting the physical, aspects of women and children, but they're not protecting the hearts.
Yeah.
And then the men who are protecting, and this is a complete generalization, the men who are protecting the hearts aren't physically protecting the women and children. And so
Yeah.
it's, it just made me angry. And do I have a solution? No, but I made some videos and I was like, yo, bros, step the fuck up, because like these women are being gaslit and manipulated. You're in the same fucking groups as them and you're watching it happen. You're just sitting there being in your emotions when you need to call out and say, this is wrong. Something
Yeah.
is wrong. And you can do it very kindly and lovingly, but yeah, it made me extremely disenfranchised. And so I noticed, my healing journey has been deeply feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, yo, I'm kind of fucking done with it. I'm ready to like wash my hands of like the spiritual and healing communities. And life is forever a challenge of growth and expansion, but
Yeah.
and integrate back into society. Cause I'm
Yeah.
like, the
Be
leftist,
human. To be human again.
to be human. And yeah, I'm done being told to be like Buddha. I'm not fucking Buddha, and I don't want to be Buddha. If anything, I'm
Yeah.
like a Joan of Arc archetype.
Yeah.
I'm gonna behead someone and then, listen to God for permission first. But, um, I just don't think we hold space for women to be these complexities of emotions and energy, and we just, and I've noticed this my whole life. People have always tried to break my energy from me, like
Yeah.
break me out of it. And then I go into these healing circles with these beautiful sisters who I do love. I love them, you know what I mean? They're not bad people, they're good
Yeah.
people. And here I am realizing that how unconsciously they are breaking me of another version of myself. And that made me like angry.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I mean, there's more to it, but like,
Oh, we're gonna dive more into this.
okay.
Do you want me to take over?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Well, I want to that topic is so perfect to kind of go on what we want to talk about, because if you're new to this spiritual journey, we want to give you some tips on avoiding the red flags, surrendering into the green flags, and kind of just teaching you how to find your footing in your spiritual journey. So I think the first thing that I want to tell you, first of all, first and foremost, is no one is going to save you. No one is going to heal you. Literally no one. You heal yourself. You are the person that can change things for you. Everything else outside of you is a tool. And this is going to be something that is empowering for you because there's a difference between using something as a tool and using it to spiritual bypass or using it to, put yourself in a box.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things you can use as a tool, or you can let it control your life.
Yep.
So, or let it become a part of your identity. So red flags. If anyone is calling themselves a healer or telling you that they can heal you, or if you take my program, you will be healed in 5 days, or if you hire me, you will be healed. I think this is going to be the year that we have to use our discernment more than any other year that we've been alive, because there's going to be so much noise coming from every single direction. I think cults are going to be at an all-time high this year because people are going to feel so lost with all this energy and all this crumbling that people are going to cling, because people love a to-do list.
Yeah.
When if you can give someone a list of like, hey, if you do A, B, C, and D, you are going to go to heaven. Like
Yep.
you are saved.
They want
People
that.
love that shit because it's a
Yeah.
lot harder to tune into yourself and to step into your own humanness and, do the work. It's so much harder to do that,
And it's hard to be messy. We don't even allow for messiness,
which is so sad. It's so
the
sad.
big part of these healing communities is like they're like, yes, be messy in this little container, but beyond that, like, be perfect. And
Yeah.
we're not perfect beings. I don't think we came here to be perfect.
Yeah. So, green flags. Everything again outside of you is a tool. So, here, when I say tool, I just want you to ask yourself this. If you are using something to become a better version of you, that is a great tool. So I'm
Mhm.
just going to use this as an example. When I first started my spiritual journey, the first practice I adopted was meditation. I got so much hate because the Christians came at me saying this is evil and blah, blah, blah. And there's literally like proof in the Bible of Christ like meditating and like
Well,
being still.
he
I couldn't,
disappeared for
yeah,
how many years and
exactly.
went to
I
India.
couldn't pull, I don't know it off the top of my head. I could find it, but I don't need to prove anything. The point is, are you using that to try to escape? Are you using that as part of your identity, or using it as a tool? So I think that's where it comes down to the individual person. And we just can't slap labels on things like this is evil, like this isn't, whatever. That is how I would discern between, the green flags and the red flags.
Yeah.
If it's making you a better person, it's great for you. If it isn't, it's not. And the other thing I want to say is everything is going to have, I know you wanted to touch on this, like life cycles. Like you're going to use something as a tool, maybe let's say 6 months, and then one day you're going to wake up and it's not going to serve you anymore. And I want you to be okay with letting that go,
Yeah.
no matter what anyone says to you. And it doesn't even have to be a spiritual tool. It could be a business, it could be a person. But if your whole entire being is saying, hey, that served us so well, it helped us get us to this next level on our journey, but it's not serving us anymore, like you need to walk away from that thing.
Yep. I lived in a spiritual community in Guatemala for like 8 months,
Yeah.
and it's one of the spiritual vortexes of the world. So it's right up there with Tulum and,
Yeah.
you know, Bali, all those places. And I realized in those communities that, one, the issues in real life are the same there. They're just masquerade,
Yeah,
masked
totally.
differently. But there's this tendency in these healing communities and spiritual groups to I call plateauers. It's we're not even aware as the consumer that there's a life cycle in something.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you'll run into psychedelic shamans, and I think very few people are meant to be holding space medicine wise, but they'll be on the journey for 5-10 years and they think it's end all be all to everything. Little do they realize sometimes is they've oftentimes just been trapped in that tool and that modality, and while they're telling everyone it's a solution for everything, it's only a phase of your journey. It's not the whole
Doesn't
journey.
that just becomes another religion?
It becomes another religion, and it's
Yeah.
everything, right? It's like any type of modality we just leech onto. We're like, you have to keep showing up. You have to keep journeying through this. You have to. I think we go through these phases where it's a tool and it's useful, and then we have to like release it. And yeah, even going back to these polarity coaches, these masculine coaches, these feminine coaches. I think what my disconnect has been is that they don't let us know about the real life cycle of being a woman, right? I can't speak for men because I'm not a man, but like
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I was in my masculine for a million years, and then I spent the last million years being in my feminine, but they tell you this is it. This is it. But it's really that integration, that duality of both masculine and feminine. But um yeah, I just have problems because so many of these polarity coaches are like men must lead and the women must follow, and it just feels like this conditioning and gaslighting of a continuation of what's wrong with our own capitalistic society.
Yeah.
And this is probably like super personal, but I realized like I had
Nothing's too personal.
an intimate connection recently, and sometimes in my sexual life I like to be dominated.
Yeah.
And
We're getting into the good stuff now.
but then yeah, this is like so TMI,
It's
and
not. It's never TMI.
and then I was going through this transition the last week, and I was like, wait a second, I don't want to dominate you, and I don't want you to actually dominate me. I just want to make love. Like I just want to have this experience that's really beautiful, and it just unfolds. And I think there's a time and place for the other things, but like it was the first time where I'm like, I don't, it feels exploitive for me to dominate you or you to dominate me. Like I just want it to flow, and it kind of felt like this deeper metaphor for life of just like all these polarities are just false labels.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks for sharing that. I love that.
Yeah, that one's I've had an interesting life.
I love it.
Thanks.
One episode, we're just gonna have to do a whole Baytop dating. When you start like dating again or going on like dates or anything, if you ever do, I would love to have a whole episode.
No one even wants to date me. I went on a dating website last week, and I added, and
you just have to give it time.
I got like 5 likes, and I messaged 2 of them, and the others all unfollowed me. And I was like, all right,
they're not for we don't want them
they're
anyways.
not for me, and I get that, but I'm like, oh my gosh,
I hit your confidence.
Like, my ego just got hit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so rejected, even though it's a stupid dating website. But I'm like, it's the cultural society of like Utah, it's a very different place.
Yeah, and dating websites kind of suck because you're basically just judging someone on their looks.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting to know the depths.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
It's superficial. I don't.
There was a guy that
that
hit on me at Harmon's, and that hasn't happened in a long time.
No way.
I don't know if I told you about this.
No.
But I was like so impressed, and I was so caught off guard, but I wish I would have like got his info and given it to you. But maybe we weren't hanging out then. I'm trying to think.
Dang.
I think it was around like Thanksgiving.
Dang.
So we were talking. But anyways, so I literally looked like such a bum. So I was so surprised he came up to me. It definitely gave me an ego boost, confidence boost. So I was just walking, minding my own business. I had my headphones in. He like walks up to me and like taps me on the shoulder and scared the shit out of me. So I probably was like, double chin and like, whoa. But he was like, hey, I was just wondering if you're single by a chance. I really like your vibe and like whatever. But he just felt so genuine. And it's like,
yeah.
And he was so brave to do that.
Hurrah to men.
And to get shut down. And I mean, I had to, obviously I'm married, so not shut down in a rude way, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm married, but thank you. Like, that's so nice. Like, I thought it was so cool that he was brave enough. And I wasn't wearing my wedding ring. Sometimes I don't wear my rings out. So he didn't know, and I could tell he was kind of like trying to look to see if I had a ring on. So it was totally my fault. But anyways, I just thought, how cool when we're living in an age of like just the swipe,
Yeah, I thought
that was so
cool.
It's
so genuine. Have you heard of like the sweatshirt theory or something?
No, what does that mean?
So they basically said, if you're a woman and you wear sweats to a bar, you're going to get hit on more because men feel more confidence to approach you because you're not all glammed up. And I think the only random date I've been asked on in this whole town is at Smith's grocery store.
So just start wearing like a garbage sack on top and sweats on the bottom and see what happens.
Hey guys.
just straight up like grunge and see. But anyways, he was so cute too.
Oh, dang it. Okay, now you have my number.
I know, I'm so annoyed that I didn't get his number for you, but I don't know. I'd be like, oh, I have a friend though. I was just so caught off guard. I didn't know what to say. So, okay. So back to what we were just talking about. I want to kind of talk a little bit more about our experiences. I know you shared a couple. And also give you guys a few tips when we say using like your discernment when it comes to maybe a tool or a community you want to join. So for me, I am sacral authority in human design. So my gut, it's like a full body yes or a full body no. And I have to lean into that. No matter what anyone says. So if it is about a coach or a spiritual community, like I have to trust that there's a lesson in there for me or something that I need to learn. And my gut has never steered me wrong. So that's kind of how what is your authority?
I'm emotional, so that's.
Ah,
I mean, if I went to a
this
therapist,
one intrigues me. Please tell me more because my whole entire family is emotional
oh
authority.
my gosh, we're crazy. We're basically
I
bipolar.
know,
We're
I know,
bipolar.
I know. And I live with 3 of them. Do you know why I feel like a crazy person now?
Yeah,
I
because
just
you
want to
live in a
hide.
bipolar family.
I just want to hide in my room. Saunders actually gotten really good at his authority. Like he knows he has to. Okay, well, explain what it is so they know like what you have to do to get to a decision. Like you can't make a decision in the highs and lows, right?
Yeah, you do not make a decision in the highs and
Yeah.
lows.
So like in a general rule of thumb, do you have like a time frame? Like, okay, I'm gonna sleep on this, or do you just wait till you get like to a neutral?
I just wait till I have peace.
Okay, and then you have your answer.
And then I feel more clear in my answer.
Okay, that's so good to know.
It's just when there's no attachment to whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
like emotionally, that's when I know that I'm at a good space. Um but I also, like I love the emotional wave because I feel like it gets me to these points of where I'm just like, I'm gonna go rant on social media. And for me, that expression feels like art.
Yeah.
And people can take it or leave it because like I'm a manifester. So at the end of the day, I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do. I know that sounds bad, but like I I know that even in my like anger, whatever it is, when I just voice it, it gives
It's like a teacher.
it, yeah, and people can take the rawness, like it's messy. And if people are coming to my page searching for perfection, they will not get that. And some days I'm graceful and some days I'm like,
See, I feel that way about me too.
yeah.
I mean, I'm gut and that will help me, but I still feel like I have to process things out loud. And so one day I'll process things out loud on my social media, and the next day I like don't want to talk about it anymore. I've made my decision. Please stop messaging me.
Bye, God, I gotta go.
So I'll like delete my stories so nobody can reply back to it. I'm like, I just needed to process it. Thank you.
We're good. We're running. What was
We just said at the same time. I
What-
just wanted to just kind of how we avoid the red flags, or again, I just think discernment is going to be so huge. And we did record an episode on using your discernment and how to tune into your intuition. But I just think so many are so disconnected from their intuition because, first of all, religion. We are taught to look outside of us. And y'all, I'm a big fan of God, but we're gonna do an episode about this one day. We both look at God very differently than religion teaches or Christianity. And I just feel like if you're being taught to look at all these things outside of yourself, you do not know how to connect to your intuition and you're not using your discernment. So that's like first and foremost, connecting to yourself. It's not selfish, like we've been taught. Like tuning into your own body and listening to your own needs is not freaking selfish.
Yeah, it's not. And it's, I find is when you're really questioning something, asking our friend chat.
Yes.
Because I was going on these rants. And I'm like, why do I feel so isolated? I'm like, but I'm angry at I'm like, oh, I don't know.
It's like the best friend that you never knew you needed.
And ChatGPT totally affirmed me. And I was like, oh, okay, see? I knew it. I fucking knew it.
I love ChatGPT.
I was feeling isolated because I'm like, well, when you have this masculine energy as a woman, you do naturally take up space, you take action more, you do these things. And it's like all these polarity coaches would tell me my existence is wrong. And I'm like, well, ChatGPT told me it's right. So
I love
and
it.
if I went to therapy, I'd probably just feed her exactly the words she needs. So she'd diagnose me with nothing but help me on my journey.
And here's a gold star.
Here's a gold star. Now get the freak out of therapy.
Okay, and then let's go back to tools. I just want to talk about integration. I want to touch on integration really quick. So if you do decide to go down a coaching program or a group, like I just joined Sacred Rebels and I was divinely led to this and I'm so excited for it. And I know Sadie and I know she is such a powerful leader. So I already know this is a great place for me. But I have to say, you can go to all the conferences, you can hire all the coaches, you can read all the books, you can do all the things. But if you do not integrate these things, you are literally wasting your time and you're spiritual bypassing. So, spiritual bypassing means you're basically just you're chasing the plant medicine, you're chasing the self help books, and you're doing all these things, but you're not taking a moment to pause and implement those things into your life. And that can be very, I want to say dangerous. Maybe that's an extreme word, but it feels dangerous.
Yeah, it's this constant love and light. I posted about that
Yeah.
recently too.
We're just getting stuck in this
This
cycle instead of actually improving your life.
Yeah, it's it's a discernment thing when these groups they are here's the thing is there's so much duality in things, right? There's this idea of acceptance. Like yes,
Yeah.
we want to accept everyone and also if you're a pedophile and raping people, then I'm going to have discernment that you're not allowed in my community.
Yeah.
Whereas like certain communities are like, well, we'll just let everyone in. Everyone needs healing. And I'm like, and this is again where I always am like, where's the divine protector? Like we need
Yeah.
some divine protection to, hold space
So
for
everyone else
the
feels
complex.
safe.
Yeah. And so it's such a duality. One of the things too I talked about in my notes is um signs of someone caught up in a spiritual ego is like when people are always like, everything happens for a reason. Yes, everything does happen for a divine reason. But when my mom dies and you tell me everything happens for a reason,
Oh yeah, that's a
I don't
hard
want to
one.
hear that right now.
Yeah.
And so,
That's not what anyone wants to hear in those
no,
situations.
well, God chose her for a reason. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yep.
I hate that.
But yeah, it's listening to these words and these as you're picking a coaching program, I always does this program lead me to more internal sovereignty or is
Mhm.
this coaching program making me dependent on them
Yes. That's a
as
great question.
as a tool?
I hope you guys wrote that down. Say that one more time.
Does this coaching program make me more internally sovereign or does this coaching program make me more dependent on them and others?
Bam. There you go. That's all you need. That's all we need to say for this whole
Okay,
podcast.
bye. See ya.
Bye. No, that was perfect.
Another thing to look for is like no vulnerability. And
Mhm.
so I think oftentimes these coaching programs or groups, the leaders will be like, I have all the answers, and there's no vulnerability of their story.
Yeah.
And when there's no vulnerability, I actually don't feel connected to them. Like I want to know that
No.
we've been through similar journeys, or I want to hear your story. I want to hear your heart, because when you just give me advice over and over and over again, I don't, it's just not, it doesn't align with me.
Yeah, and this is the same thing. I have an issue with just the like doctors in general. This is a random side is if you haven't experienced what you're telling me I need help with, I do not trust you. I would rather trust someone on the internet who has lived experience, who has been through what I'm going through. I would trust that person over a professional who learned about it in a book.
User 1022 on Reddit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
exactly.
seriously though.
Exactly. It's because it's validating.
Yeah.
And I think it gets back to this, are we creating a hierarchy where you need me, or is it we're creating opportunities to grow together?
Yeah.
It's this when there's this hierarchical dependence. Oh, you have the solutions and I don't. Like anyone who's not giving you your own solution for you to figure
Yeah.
it's run.
A good leader should be holding space to a point where they are empowering you to be your best self and giving you tools to be your best self. Just period.
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 Period. Let's see what else I have. This using labels, and are we using labels to identify as an identity or for genuine growth? It's like I'm awakened, I'm high vibration, I'm all these things,
I'm a
and
star seed.
I'm a star seed. I'm a you know what? I feel like I am an alien,
I
but
do too, but labels, I have such an aversion. My body, I hate labels because I feel
yeah,
like we just use it as another thing to put ourselves. I think in the future, labels might serve us, but I think right now, while we're still in this energy, people love to cling to labels. And the thing is, if you're clinging to a label, you're feeding it energy. So if you are currently dealing with some sort of sickness or whatever, instead of, I mean, we've talked about this before, but if it's not something you want to be dealing with,
yeah.
stop clinging to it as like you. It's not who you are. It's just something you're experiencing.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it reminds me of, like, a driver's license in a way. It's like, for 6 months, we study something, we integrate it, okay, now we know it, and now
Yeah.
it's like, I don't even think about my driver's license, I just drive.
Yeah.
It's all so natural,
Yeah.
and that's, like, the integration, so it's like if you have a label, even, like, your astrology is a label, right?
Mhm.
Okay, sit in that and then integrate and then just exist within
Yeah.
that what feels like truth to you.
Yeah. It's just, again, another tool. Astrology, human design, it's another tool. If you're using it for your identity, then it's probably not serving you how it should be serving you. Those things empower me because they're like guides
Yeah,
and they do validate me.
they do.
They do make me realize, "Oh, this is why I am the way I am. This makes sense." So it empowers me and
It's
helps
v
me step more into my power and my purpose and my passions.
Yeah.
So I love it.
I I read this article this weekend that someone wrote. So manifestors and projectors, we have like the biggest struggle, and it said the article title was "Why Manifestors and Projectors Hate Each Other." I should have sent it to you.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
funny.
That's so funny.
But basically at the end it said when you're both conscious, it works out. But
Yeah. If you're not,
it,
steer clear of each other.
they always like say that projectors have like this yin yin energy, and
Mhm.
then manifesting generators and generators have this yin yang energy, and then manifestors have yang yang energy.
Yeah.
And so when like a projector tries to tell me how to be, I'm like, you know what?
Back off.
You back off. We're completely different energy types. I'm keeping you safe, babe. You don't even know it. Watch out. But so it's like validating because it does empower you to know how your energy flows and how you're meant to be.
Yeah.
But also it's
And maybe to have grace for others too.
yeah, grace for others because it's like, oh, okay, well, I was acting in my shadow 10 minutes ago. Now, you know what I mean?
Human.
But yeah, again, it's just another tool to build like your mountain of confidence.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay, what is the role of real community?
Ooh.
I
Is that
had a
for
thought.
them or are we answering that?
I had a thought on this in my drive over.
Okay, go, because I have a thought too. Go. I
I
like
would
this
say the
question.
role of real community is to witness one another.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
No freaking way,
Yeah.
girl. Chills.
No, but when you're witnessing other people and holding space for other people, you give everyone gets a chance to shine. Because right now everyone is triggered by everyone. No one's holding space for anyone. And so it is just pure chaos.
Yeah.
Can we just imagine for a second that everyone is different, everyone makes different choices for different reasons. If we held space for other people, even if we don't agree with their decisions, like how powerful that would be for a collective. We would see an instant shift in consciousness, like instant,
Oh, instant.
probably by
Imagine
a
if we just
lot.
didn't troll for a whole week. Like if
I
no
think
one on the internet
I
trolled.
don't even know what happened.
Okay, you guys, picture this. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, comments are shut off for a whole 2 weeks. What happens? Does the
And
world
everyone
heal?
just gets to show up and post whatever they want, like
Yeah.
unhinged shit.
And no one can comment, no one can respond. Like imagine.
I mean, I would probably show up more. I've definitely taken a step back because I just can't deal I can't deal with it. And
Yeah,
our friend Sam the other day posted, I don't know if you saw this. Shout out to Sam. She posted something that resonated with me about like we can say we don't care about what the haters say, like, oh, I don't care what anyone says about me, but it does hurt.
yeah,
And when you're
I
getting
get hurt.
when you're getting droves of it constantly, like it doesn't feel good. Like sure, you can develop thick skin and you can get to a point where you're like, I love myself. What people say about me does not affect how I view myself, but it still doesn't
Yeah.
feel good. And like
Should we
I
like
love that
inbox them
post.
with voice notes? Hey, Kimberly, I know you didn't mean to say that comment, or me, I don't know if you did. You look really kind in your pictures, but I just want you to know when you said that it felt really hurtful to
No,
me.
those bitches don't get my energy.
No. So okay,
The
that's
thing
why
is, they can't hold space for that right
no,
now
they
though.
can't. They can't.
They would just piss them
So
off. They'd be like, fuck off.
they need to be blocked, honestly.
Yeah. This is the funniest one this week. I have been called a racist because I own a Tesla. So that's been a fun one.
You are racist.
I know. I'm
You
such
know
a
what?
terrible person
Here's
for
the thing
buying an
is like
electric car.
if you just be like, yep, okay, and back to our next showing up, like if you don't give them anything, there's
Oh,
no ammunition.
I just blocked.
Yeah, bye. We don't.
There's sometimes I feel the need to defend myself, and that is a
That one I would feel no need to defend
oh,
myself.
I blocked her.
4 years ago, I would have been like, "I'm not a racist, please."
But
Now I'm like,
it's
"All
just
right,
stupid. Like,
bye."
that's the best you've got.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you hate the creator of Tesla. I'm not gonna go sell my car because you're pissed at somebody.
Yeah.
It's just insane again. I don't know,
I'm
it's
s
insanity.
I have been really checked out from what's happening politically.
Oh, I actually have been too. I don't know a whole lot going on besides a
Yes.
lot of plane crashes. I have been aware of that because
And then RFK is creating ADHD camps. I just read about that. Like, what there
that is wild. I
and
don't think that's true.
there are some people in like the quote unquote like spiritual community. They're like, if you voted for him, I cannot believe. And I'm like, I don't know how you could take a side ever, really. Like,
I'm asking ChatGPT. I don't think that's real.
yeah, this person was going off. They're a coach.
Here's the thing. People take these like rumors and take them to the extreme and then everyone buys into it and then all of a sudden everyone believes these things and this is how toxic.
Having been addicted to Adderall for 10 years, I can say that it is synthetic methamphetamine.
Oh,
And it
100%.
was 110% a gateway to my cocaine addiction
ChatGPT did
and
not
sex addiction. My sex addiction, my cocaine addiction, alcoholism. Like,
We need to talk about that on an episode one
yeah,
time.
that's.
This is hilarious. Okay, ChatGPT did not understand the question. There are several camps and programs designed for individuals with ADHD. Camp Starfish, Camp Sequoia, SOAR, ADHD Family Camp. That's not really what I meant, but I don't think it's what we're saying. These have been around for a long time. They're like camps
Oh,
for people
yeah,
to have
no.
community with other people that have ADHD. Anyways, I don't even think that's worth giving any more energy to.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is you're probably, if you're having to heavily medicate to stay in your job, you mean chances are high that maybe it's not aligned with you.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you are a people person. You're meant to be doing. Here's the thing is I think so many people who are people should be doing sales and making $500,000 a year, but they don't even know that they can sell a tech platform just as easy as they talk to someone at the front desk.
Yeah.
They're missing
Amen.
out. They're missing out. We
I
just
know.
don't know.
But that stuff's gonna everything is gonna be so loud in our lives. Like, we're not gonna get past this year without seeing the things that aren't serving us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sure, you can turn a blind eye to it, but you're gonna be fucking miserable.
What's not serving you as of late?
Everything. Just kidding. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, what's not serving me? I mean, if you asked me like 12 days ago, my answer would have been so much different. I'm feeling so full of life right now and so happy. So I don't know if there's anything not serving me. I feel very happy right now with where I'm at. Also, I know career-wise or purpose-wise, there's something coming for me. I just don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, I feel that.
I mean, we talked about this. Did we talk about this?
Today. Yeah, I feel
Not
like
today.
Oh.
We talked about it in our last episode, I think, that hasn't gone live yet. I think it goes live tomorrow.
Yep.
But we did talk about finances and we got a little vulnerable there. But we just talked about how both you and I are just in this like limbo phase right now.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of trying to figure things out. I'm kind of trying to figure things out because for me, like what I'm sharing, affiliate marketing, I share things that I love and I share my health journey and that just blends so perfectly together. But that's not my purpose. It's not my career. It's not my forever. It does support me financially while I am,
building your
on this
legacy.
healing journey and taking care of myself. But I don't know what's next. I really have no idea. And that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's
It really
very
is.
frustrating some days. Like, I want to punch a wall, but also it's very exciting. So I'm like, there's something better coming, which is so exciting.
Something profound.
Same for you.
So, yeah. Yeah, one of the big things popping up this past week for me is throughout the last couple years I've had these pretty intense visions and these downloads, and I think just letting go of maybe a lot of like this spirituality I had attached to everything.
Mhm.
And like for me, I told you this morning I was like applying to big girl jobs, like,
Yeah.
I do this every year and a half though, and I start making like 6 figures, and
And then
then
you're like, I'm over
I'm
it.
like, I'm done buying, gotta go back, and then I quit. So if
You almost need to mesh the two worlds together of like, you need your freedom and sovereignty, and then also that high paying job. So I guarantee
yeah,
you're going to find something that flows perfectly, but you can't say yes to anything until you're like, this is it.
yeah, exactly. And you know this, like my dream is to have my own conscious investment firm,
Yeah.
and it's to invest in embodied leaders and embodied companies. And I just have such a diverse background, and so part of me is like feeling this. We live in a small town where
Mm-hmm.
innovation doesn't take place, and so part of me is like, I'm really craving these big, ideas and these big
Do you feel like
innovative.
you're going to be the one to kind of like bring that in? Or does that feel like that's annoying? That's
Well,
too
then I was
much?
looking at my astrocartography last night,
Oh
and I'm like,
boy.
"Oh, shit." I've looked at it since
You
I
can
moved
read
here.
that?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll read
I want to
yours.
know mine.
And St. George is never the state of
Okay,
Utah.
wait, explain what that is really quick for anyone who doesn't know what astrocartography is.
Astrocartography is, where it's based off your astrology, where you should and
Is it
shouldn't be
ley
living.
lines or is that not the same?
Um, it's more like longitude, latitude type
Okay.
stuff. And, the state of Utah is like a big red zone for me. Like, I really should never be living here, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why. I'm gonna call it, for the sake of right now, like God, source, the
Yeah.
creator, has called me here over and over and over again, and I'm like, "Yo, this is a red zone." Like,
Yeah.
my astrology says I'm not gonna find any success in business. I'm not gonna find love life. I'm gonna have difficulties and all these things. I'm like, all right, one, I don't wanna over identify. So the past
Totally.
like 2 years I've been saying to myself, well, if I just meet people from where my astrology runs well, like Denver. So I'm like, if I meet people from Denver or Miami, Florida, and they live here, like, then maybe I can connect and build. And so, anyways, I'm trying to find this balance of like, do I build something here?
Mm-hmm.
Am I the one who starts it? Or do I just live here part time and work and live somewhere else part time?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Maybe the company that you end up working for is located in a place that is in good energy for you.
Yeah, like LA, San
And so
Francisco.
you traveled every once in a while and then like home base is here. So you are
Yeah.
still having, because technically that energy would be there if their
Yeah.
physical location is there.
But the nature's so beautiful here, and I have friends and
Yeah,
stuff.
don't leave.
Yeah.
Don't leave me.
But that part of me, when I was getting a lot of dates too, it was like in these circles. Like when I
Mm-hmm.
was in these like networks and these thought leadership programs and all of these things, and like that, I would just attract people
It was
like
also a good
magnetic.
way to meet people too.
Yeah, but I'm like, man, I'm really attracted to intelligent men, and it's not that people aren't intelligent out here. There's just I haven't met any like big thought leaders who
Yeah.
are like pushing the needle and going ham on LinkedIn or something.
Going ham on LinkedIn. Bet
Yeah.
you that's the first time you've ever heard that expression. Going ham on LinkedIn. I haven't been
Yeah.
on LinkedIn in like 10 years. I think I probably still have an old
But
picture
then,
on there.
how much is my ego attached to that too, so I don't freaking know. What
It's all
I
part of the human
I feel like
experience.
you were gonna say something and I cut you off.
I don't think I was going to say anything.
Oh.
My hair's driving me nuts right now. I think I'm going to chop it all off. So there's that thought. That's what I'm thinking about right
I
now.
was thinking, should I grow my hair out?
I really like your hair. And the fact that it's wavy, I feel like it works like that. Like, I wish my hair was a little more like yours. You pull off like the messy, wavy vibe. I
Oh
really
my
like
gosh.
it.
I feel homely.
No, I like it.
Okay, thank you.
No, it really does look good. I would tell you if it
Okay.
didn't.
'Cause I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, dang, I like
But like that's the vibe I want though. Like I
you,
want the messy because then you can just do it and go.
yeah, don't you have
I'm a
this?
lazy girl. I want to look
I
I
think
want to
that's
look so hot, but I want it to be the laziest way possible.
yeah, I'm like
that's
I'm the friend
that's
that's
my
ready in 10
Leo
minutes.
energy. That is my Leo energy. I learned that Leos love to do things like be the most successful in the laziest way. Like we're
Girl,
like the one of the laziest
efficiency.
signs. Efficiency,
That's
yeah.
it, that's
And
all it is.
that's me.
Maybe that's why we're friends, because I'm also obsessed with efficiency.
Yeah, I just want to take care of myself all day and then make a lot of money.
Yeah, oh man, I'm so glad we're hanging out today. You just remind me. I Okay, so my 10th house and my Venus and my midheaven are in Leo,
Mhm.
and Leo people are it's all about the hair for us. Like, your hair is life.
Your
Literally,
hair makes or breaks everything. I will die on that hill.
it's your signature look when you've got placements in your Leo.
Well, and also if you have a bad hair day, everything's fucked. You can wear the coolest outfit, but if you're having a bad hair day, it's over. And that's what's happening right now. I can see in the mirror my hair's flipping and I'm gonna lose my mind. Do you see that?
Yeah, but it looks like it's part of the whole shebang. Like, it looks
I
natural.
mean, okay, fine. Ugh. I'm chopping it all off next week. That's it.
Were you shaving your head again?
No.
Oh, okay.
You know how hard I mean, I did. I will say that short hair, so good.
Yeah, you rocked it.
Yeah, Saunders like, yeah, I like you with more hair. I will say like the brown when it got like a little bit longer and I could just like do the wavy. Oh, it was so good because my natural hair is wavy like that, but as soon as I bleach it, all that wave is dead.
Oh my gosh.
The wave dies because you damage.
Yeah, once I get this next big girl job, I'm gonna be doing crazy shit with my
You're
hair.
gonna be bleached
It's
with
just
me.
expensive to upkeep, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have
It's a
a client
commitment.
for 2 or 3 months, and then by month 4 they're not my client or
Yeah.
something. So I'm like,
Once you commit, you're like invested. So you have to have a stable
I learned
stability.
people are always like, oh, how do you look so good in hats? And I'm like, well, I was forced to wear them because I shaved half my head like 8 years ago, and
That's the best.
that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And then the awkward phase of growing it out.
Yeah.
And then during COVID, I went bleach blonde, and then like 2 months later, COVID happened.
Yeah.
So I had someone come to my house who wasn't a licensed hairstylist to bleach my hair, and they left bleaching my hair.
That's when I met you, is when it was super blonde.
Well, I lost half my hair.
Oh my gosh.
During COVID. And so I had to wear hats again.
Lessons were learned.
Lessons were learned that I don't I've got to have a professional do my hair, and it's commitment.
Yeah. Professional, please.
Oh my gosh. What a wild time to be alive.
Let's tap out at that.
What is that where we tap out, tap out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys, we love to hear your reviews. If anything resonates with you, like please leave a review, message us. We're obviously just doing this as a hobby, and so getting that feedback from you guys means everything. If there's a specific topic you want us to talk about, like drop it in our inbox. We would love to hear anything and all the things.
Yeah, someone mentioned conscious business.
Ooh.
So that could be a next jam.
Cool. Yeah, send all your ideas our way. We have a lot of things that we want to talk about, but if there's anything specific that you guys want to hear, we would love to dive into it.
Yes, and share with your friends.
Yes, please.
Please.
We want to grow this, but also it's a hobby for our healing and just to help hopefully activate you guys.
I'm never healing again. I'm done healing.
She's done healing.
You guys know I'm bipolar, so I'm not.
She's not really.
I'm not.
Ask her tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow will be a different answer. Actually, tonight will be a different answer.
In 1 hour and 11 minutes, it'll be a different answer.
Completely, whole different human. I'm coming up.
Okay, bye.
Wait, live.
Awaken, laugh. Wait,
repeat.
Did you say live? We're never going to get this.
No.
Awaken,
laugh.
Repeat.
Bye.
Bye.